Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about context clues, which is a term you've heard me use before and which I'm sure you've heard in the past. But context clues is just when we figure out what a word means by looking at the clues around it. Okay, so we look at how it's used in a sentence, what other words are around it, we look for keywords that can help us figure out exactly what it means. Okay, so today I want to go through some different strategies that you can use to help you figure out the meaning of an unknown word. Okay, and the first one is definition. Okay, now sometimes authors make it real easy for you and give you the definition of the word you don't know. Okay, so here's an example. Colonists received maize or corn from the Native Americans. So right there, here's the word we don't know, maize. Now, whoever was writing this sentence figured, they might not know what maize means. So they went ahead and gave you the definition. So they put a comma, then they said, or corn, the meaning of the word maize, then another comma. So a lot of times when you see a word like that, and then you see the keyword or, meaning, or defined as, okay, and then another word, they're trying to give you the definition of the more difficult word. Okay, so that's one strategy that you can use, look for that definition if it's given to you. All right, now another one is to look for examples of what the word means. Okay, so here's one example. My mother is benevolent. That's my unknown word. She is always volunteering for charities and working to help those in need. So in this case, okay, they gave us an example of actions that a benevolent person would take. Okay, they would volunteer for charities and work to help those in need. Now, I want y'all to take a look at those examples of benevolent actions there and think about, what do you think the word benevolent means based on our context clues? All right, so hopefully you guessed that it meant kind or generous or charitable or giving, okay, any of those types of words, okay, because we have these very kind and generous actions given as examples. Now, some keywords you can look for that show you that they're trying to give you an example are for example and such as, okay. Now, sometimes they'll give you the antonym. I'm pausing because I want you all to remember what that means. Hopefully we all said opposite. Okay, you're giving the opposite of the unknown word. Okay, so here's an example. My aunt is very benevolent, unlike my uncle, who is mean and cruel. So this time we were given antonyms for the word benevolent. Okay, mean and cruel. All right, so when they give you an antonym, they're going to give you a keyword to show you that they're giving you the opposite meaning, okay? So some keywords you might see, but, however, although, on the other hand, whereas, unlike, different, opposite, and not, okay? So if you see one of those words, it could be a hint that they're going to give you an antonym to that word, okay? All right, last strategy is to look for synonyms to the word you don't know, okay? So they might give you a word or words with the same meaning as the unknown word. This is similar to when they give you the definition, okay? So here's one. My best friend Daisy is benevolent or kind and caring. So this time they gave you synonyms that showed you what benevolent means, okay? So some keywords you might see when you're being given a synonym: means, in other words, or, that is, also, same, alike, similar. Now, sometimes you won't get a synonym, an antonym, an example, or a definition. Sometimes you'll just have to make a guess, or an inference, based on the evidence in the sentence, okay? So let's look at some examples. All right, number one, Sonia is dexterous at basketball, although she is clumsy and awkward when dancing. Okay, so I want to know, what does dexterous mean? So I'm going to look at my clues here. Okay, she is dexterous at basketball, although she is clumsy and awkward when dancing. Now, although, that seems familiar. I think it's one of my keywords. I'm going to look. Yeah, I see it right here. Although, so that means I'm being given an antonym. Okay. So looking at it, that must mean clumsy and awkward are the opposites of dexterous. Okay? So I'm going to guess that dexterous means be skilled. Okay? Let's look at this next one. Joan loves to buy exotic foods, vegetables from China, spices from India, and cheeses from France. Now, I don't really see a lot of keywords here, but it looks like I'm being given examples. Okay, I'm going to write that in for what type of context clue I'm given. An example of exotic foods. Okay, so if they're vegetables from China, spices from India, and cheeses from France, looking at my answer choices, A, expensive and tasty. Well, I don't necessarily know that vegetables from China are going to fit expensive and tasty. And many of us might not think cheeses from France are tasty. They tend to be the stinky ones. B, highly seasoned. I wouldn't think that cheeses would have a lot of salt or spices in them, and vegetables not necessarily. Amazing, maybe, right? But that would kind of depend on what kind of food you liked. D, foreign and unusual. Well, they're all from other countries, China, India, and France. That would make them somewhat unusual in America. So I think D is going to be my best answer based on the examples they gave me there. Okay. Now, let's look at number 3. My opponent's argument is fallacious or full of mistakes. So looking at that, what type of context clue is being used? I see that word or, okay, which is one of my keywords for definition when they give me a definition. So that would make this really easy because that means that, they gave me a definition right here. Okay, so I'm going to put that in. They gave me a definition, and I want you to tell me what that word means. Okay, does fallacious mean mistaken, correct, clever, or admirable? Okay, which one of those do you think it means based on the type of context clue that we have here? All right, so hopefully we said A, mistaken, because they gave us the definition full of mistakes. Okay, we're going to do a lot more practice with context clues, like a lot. So you're going to get super awesome at it. But this was just a little preview of some of the strategies we're going to be talking about. Right? So have a great weekend, and as always, make sure you do all your homework.